The signal arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. At first, the astronomers at the Global Space Observatory thought it was just another pulsar emission, but Dr. Samira Patel knew better. The pattern was too precise, too structured to be natural. After 20 years of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, humanity had finally received its answer. Within hours, the world's leading scientists and government officials converged on the facility. The message, once decoded, was simple: we come in peace. Prepare for contact. The Galactic Empire, as they called themselves, claimed to be a peaceful civilization seeking diplomatic relations with Earth. Admiral James Harrison stood at the United Nations podium 3 months later, watching the sleek silver ships descend through Earth's atmosphere. The Arcturian vessels moved with impossible grace, their hulls shimming with an energy field that seemed to bend light itself. As the alien delegation emerged, their tall, crystalline forms catching the sunlight, Harrison couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Behind closed doors, Intelligence Officer Riya Sharma shared his concerns. Her team had detected anomalies in the Arcturians' behavior, subtle inconsistencies in their story, unexplained energy signatures from their ships, and encrypted transmissions that didn't match their supposed peaceful intentions. The truth emerged too late. The Arcturians weren't alone, they were scouts for a vast empire that had conquered hundreds of worlds. Their peaceful overtures were a ruse, designed to study Earth's defenses and identify strategic targets. The real invasion fleet arrived 6 months after first contact, emerging from hyperspace in overwhelming numbers. But humanity had not been idle. For decades, governments around the world had maintained secret programs preparing for exactly this scenario. Underground facilities housed experimental weapons systems, while quantum computers ran endless simulations of alien invasion scenarios. The public's panic at the sight of the massive invasion fleet was real, but so was humanity's readiness. Director Marcus Wong activated the Global Defense Network from his command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. As the Arcturian ultimatum for surrender echoed across every communication channel, he exchanged knowing looks with his international counterparts on the video screens before him. They had anticipated this moment, prepared for it in ways their enemies couldn't imagine. The Arcturians had made a critical mistake. They assumed Earth's apparent technological inferiority in space travel meant we were defenseless. They never considered that humanity might have prioritized different technologies, one specifically designed to counter advanced alien civilizations. As the invasion fleet moved into position, they remained unaware of the quantum field generators buried in Earth's polar regions, or the swarms of microscopic combat drones hidden in the upper atmosphere. They didn't detect the consciousness transfer satellites that would allow human operators to directly interface with their defensive systems, or the reality-warping weapons developed in secret laboratories around the world. The Arcturians expected Earth to surrender at the first show of force. Instead, they were about to learn why humanity had never ventured far from their home planet, not because they couldn't, but because they had been building something else entirely. The greatest defensive network the galaxy had ever seen. As Director Wong gave the order to initiate the counter-invasion protocols, he remembered something his grandmother used to say: the best hunter is patient, and the wisest farmer tends their fence before planting their crops. Humanity had spent centuries tending their fence. Now it was time to show the galaxy just how strong those defenses were. The first wave of Earth's defense caught the Arcturians completely off guard. Their flagship, a massive crystalline structure that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built, shuddered as quantum-entangled missiles phased through their supposedly impenetrable shields. But this was just the beginning. Commander Nadia Volkov watched from her control pod as the neural interface translated her thoughts into commands for her drone swarm. Millions of microscopic machines, each smaller than a grain of sand, surrounded the Arcturian vessels like a silver mist. These weren't simple explosive devices, they were reality hackers, designed to rewrite the laws of physics on a quantum scale. The Arcturians had brought overwhelming force, but they didn't understand the true nature of their opponent. While they had conquered space, humanity had mastered something far more fundamental: the ability to manipulate the fabric of reality itself. Each drone carried a quantum processor capable of creating localized temporal anomalies, turning the aliens' advanced technology against them. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Takeshi Yamamoto monitored the battle through quantum-entangled sensors. His team had spent years developing the technology that now protected Earth. The Arcturians' energy weapons were useless against defenses that existed partially out of phase with normal spacetime. Their targeting systems couldn't lock onto ships protected by probability fields that made them exist in multiple locations simultaneously. But the aliens were adaptable. As their initial assault faltered, they shifted tactics, launching waves of autonomous combat units toward Earth's surface. That's when humanity revealed its second layer of defenses. The ground beneath the invaders' landing zones shimmered as hidden metamaterial structures activated, creating zones where the normal laws of physics simply ceased to function. Lieutenant Diana Rodriguez led the counteroffensive from South America. Her quantum-enhanced consciousness spread across a network of defense platforms, coordinating a response that operated faster than human neurons could fire. The Arcturians found their landing forces trapped in bubbles of distorted spacetime, their advanced AI systems corrupted by quantum interference patterns that human computers had learned to navigate decades ago. The tide of battle shifted dramatically when the Arcturian commander attempted to deploy their superweapon, a device capable of inducing a controlled solar flare that would devastate Earth's surface. They never got the chance to fire it. The quantum field generators at Earth's poles activated, creating a temporal barrier that locked their entire fleet in a moment of frozen time. As the initial phase of the battle concluded, Director Wong received reports from defense installations worldwide. The casualties were minimal, the defensive grid was holding, and the enemy was in disarray. But he knew this was only the beginning. The Arcturian Empire wouldn't take this defeat lightly. They would return with new tactics, new weapons, and a better understanding of what they faced. In the command center, Riya Sharma's intelligence team was already analyzing the captured Arcturian technology. Every piece of data they gathered would help strengthen Earth's defenses. The quantum computers were running simulations of possible counterattacks, while research teams worked to reverse engineer the aliens' faster-than-light technology. The message they sent to the retreating Arcturian forces was clear: Earth was not a primitive world ripe for conquest. It was a fortress, defended by technology so advanced it appeared simple to those who didn't understand its true nature. Humanity had chosen to appear vulnerable, letting potential invaders believe they were an easy target. That deception had worked perfectly, and now the galaxy would learn just how dangerous it was to underestimate Earth. The Arcturian Empire's response came 3 months later, but not in the form anyone expected. Instead of another military assault, they launched a devastating cyber attack on Earth's quantum defense network. Their AI systems, evolved through millennia of galactic conquest, began probing Earth's digital defenses with an intelligence that bordered on consciousness itself. Major Raj Kapoor led Earth's cyber defense team from their quantum-shielded facility in Bangalore. His fingers danced across holographic interfaces as he coordinated a global response to the attack. The Arcturians had found a way to inject corrupt data into the quantum entanglement networks that connected Earth's defensive systems. If they succeeded, humanity's greatest weapons would become useless. But Earth's scientists had anticipated this possibility. Dr. Isabella Romano activated the Quantum Maze Protocol, a defensive system that used quantum uncertainty principles to create an ever-shifting network architecture. Every time the Arcturian AIs thought they had mapped Earth's defense grid, it would fundamentally change its structure at the quantum level. The alien cyber assault revealed something unexpected: the Arcturians weren't just fighting to conquer Earth, they were afraid. Intelligence gathered from the attack patterns showed that news of Earth's defensive capabilities had spread through the galaxy, destabilizing the Empire's hold over other conquered worlds. They needed to defeat Earth not just for conquest, but to maintain their power. High above the Earth, Commander Wei Chen noticed something odd in the quantum sensor readings. The Arcturian cyber attack was masking something else, the approach of a stealth fleet using technology Earth had never encountered before. They had learned from their previous defeat and developed countermeasures specifically designed to bypass Earth's quantum defenses. The moment the stealth fleet decloaked, they unleashed a weapon that no one had predicted, a cascade of anti-quantum particles that began unraveling the very foundations of Earth's defensive systems. The quantum field generators started failing, reality-warping weapons became unstable, and the microscopic drone swarms began to lose cohesion. In that moment of crisis, humanity revealed its final secret. Director Wong activated the Lazarus Protocol, a last resort system that had been in development since the first telescopes spotted distant galaxies. Every human connected to the defense network felt their consciousness expand as quantum computers merged their minds into a single, vast intelligence. The unified human consciousness could perceive reality in ways no individual mind could comprehend. They saw the quantum structure of space-time itself, understood the fundamental forces that bound the universe together, and knew exactly how to counter the Arcturian attack. Through this collective intelligence, humanity discovered that the anti-quantum cascade wasn't destroying their defensive systems, it was creating a new form of quantum entanglement that could be harnessed. Dr. Romano, her consciousness merged with millions of others, realized how to invert the weapon's effect. The very force meant to destroy Earth's defenses became the power source for something unprecedented. As the Arcturian fleet watched in horror, Earth's quantum field generators began pulsing with new energy. The anti-quantum cascade had created a bridge between normal spacetime and something else, a realm of pure quantum possibility that humanity's unified consciousness could shape at will. The defensive network wasn't just protecting Earth anymore, it was rewriting the rules of reality itself. The unified human consciousness made a startling discovery: the Arcturians' greatest weakness wasn't technological, but social. Their empire was built on fear and domination, held together by advanced technology that kept subjugated species in check. With access to the quantum realm, humanity could now turn this against them. Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka, her consciousness merged with the collective, identified the frequency patterns that the Arcturians used to maintain control over their slave worlds. These quantum signatures were like keys to invisible chains, and now humanity had the power to break them. The counteroffensive began not with weapons, but with liberation. Earth's quantum network, powered by the inverted anti-quantum cascade, began broadcasting signals that disrupted the Arcturians' control systems across hundreds of worlds simultaneously. Each broken chain caused a cascade of failures throughout their empire. Admiral Harrison, leading the Unified Defense Force, watched as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Slave species were breaking free, turning their own advanced technology against their former masters. The Arcturian Empire had never faced an enemy that could attack the very foundation of their power structure. Through the quantum network, humanity shared not just freedom, but knowledge. The collective consciousness transmitted understanding of quantum defense technology to the liberated worlds, teaching them how to protect themselves against future conquest. The galaxy was transforming from a hierarchy of oppression into a network of free civilizations. The Arcturian High Command, in desperation, attempted to trigger their doomsday weapon, a device capable of collapsing the quantum structure of entire star systems. But they had never faced an enemy that could exist partially in the quantum realm itself. The unified human consciousness saw the weapon's activation coming before the Arcturians even gave the command. Dr. Romano, working with the collective, developed a quantum virus that infected the Arcturians' command and control systems. Every attempt to use their superweapons resulted in those weapons being transformed into quantum bridges, further strengthening the liberation network spreading across the galaxy. Commander Volkov led the final assault on the Arcturian homeworld, not with ships and soldiers, but with waves of quantum transformation that turned their own defensive systems into gateways for revolution. The crystalline towers of their capital city became broadcasting stations, spreading truth and freedom instead of oppression. The Arcturian leadership, faced with the complete collapse of their power structure, made their final mistake. They attempted to sever their connection to the quantum realm entirely, believing they could rebuild their empire in purely physical space. Instead, they cut themselves off from the fundamental forces that powered their civilization. Major Kapoor and his team watched as the Arcturian Empire's technology began to fail across the galaxy. Without quantum cohesion, their faster-than-light drive ceased functioning, their energy weapons became useless, and their communication networks fell silent. The greatest empire in the galaxy had effectively imprisoned itself in normal spacetime. The unified human consciousness began to withdraw, its work complete. But it left behind something unprecedented, a galaxy-wide quantum defense network, shared freely among all species who sought to protect themselves from future conquest. Earth had not just defeated an empire, it had fundamentally changed the nature of galactic civilization. A decade after the fall of the Arcturian Empire, Earth had become the center of a new galactic civilization. The Quantum Defense Network, now managed jointly by hundreds of species, had evolved into something its creators never imagined, a collective consciousness that spanned the galaxy while preserving the individuality of its participants. Director Wong, now serving on the Galactic Council of Free Worlds, watched as representatives from formerly enslaved species shared their knowledge and culture. The quantum network didn't just defend, it translated, educated, and connected civilizations that had been isolated for millennia under Arcturian rule. The Arcturians themselves had undergone a profound transformation. Stripped of their empire and confined to normal spacetime, they had been forced to confront the legacy of their conquests. A new generation of their species emerged, one that sought to understand rather than dominate. Dr. Romano's team had made perhaps the most significant discovery of all: the quantum realm wasn't just a tool for defense or communication. It was a bridge to understanding consciousness itself. Through the network, species could share not just ideas but experiences, leading to levels of empathy and cooperation previously thought impossible. The microscopic drone swarms that once defended Earth now served as the building blocks of a new form of space travel. Commander Volkov led the first expedition using quantum tunneling technology, allowing ships to traverse the galaxy without the need for conventional faster-than-light drives. Humanity's defensive focus had inadvertently created the most efficient form of space exploration ever discovered. Lieutenant Tanaka's work with quantum consciousness translation had opened up new frontiers in understanding alien psychology. The fear and mistrust that had dominated interstellar relations under the Arcturian Empire gave way to genuine cultural exchange and mutual growth. Species that had been mortal enemies now worked together to explore the mysteries of the universe. Major Kapoor's cyber defense protocols evolved into a galactic immune system, automatically detecting and neutralizing attempts to weaponize technology for conquest. The quantum network didn't just prevent war, it made conflict itself obsolete by fostering understanding between different forms of consciousness. The unified human consciousness that had emerged during the crisis became a model for a new form of governance. Species could temporarily join their minds to solve complex problems while maintaining their distinct identities and cultures. The galaxy had found a balance between unity and diversity that the Arcturians had never thought possible. Admiral Harrison, in his final address to the Galactic Council, reflected on humanity's journey. They had appeared primitive to the Arcturians, focused on defense rather than expansion. But this very focus had created something unprecedented, a civilization that grew stronger through cooperation rather than conquest. Earth's apparent weakness had been its greatest strength. By preparing for defense rather than expansion, humanity had developed technologies that transcended traditional concepts of warfare. The quantum network they created didn't just protect, it connected, healed, and elevated every species it touched. As new civilizations emerged from the dark corners of the galaxy, they found not an empire waiting to conquer them, but a network ready to embrace them. The age of conquest was over. The age of discovery had begun. And it all started because humanity chose to be a guardian rather than a conqueror, proving that sometimes the strongest walls build the greatest bridges.